Good afternoon, it's Quant Trade Edge, and today I've got something a little different than the typical futures markets analysis that we do. We're looking at the stock of AMD, and I want to document out the process for capturing a positive feedback loop in an equity. And I'll kind of give you my rationale behind it. It works well during earnings season. And today there was news on AMD. It wasn't earnings, but there was some positive news about, I think it was Microsoft and OpenAI using the AMD chip instead of the NVIDIA chip in their AI product. So this is the previous close here of 116.82. And so I guess let me first start with the way that I came across AMD this morning was looking through a stock scanner in the pre-market to determine the highest volume traded stocks. And then I visually go down that list and I look for things that are moving a large amount and that are fairly common names. And this list is a list of stocks that have weekly options on them. And, AMD popped up, Google popped up. On the downside, Chewy popped up and AI popped up. C3AI, symbol AI. The one that I went with Google and AMD, and with AMD, so now getting to the actual method. If you look at the closing straddle price, we closed at 116.82, so the at the money straddle would be the 117 straddle. The closing price of that yesterday, if you add them up to get the straddle, is $3.21. So that adds up to 120.03. And this is what I call upper boundary, meaning a gap above upper boundary or a strong thrust above upper boundary has the potential to start a positive feedback loop. And why is that? So, as of the close yesterday, everything that is known about this stock is priced in. And the option prices also priced in everything that's known about the volatility of the stock. If people expected it to have very small volatility, like, here to here, then the straddle would have been a lot smaller. But they expected it to have, potentially this $3.21 range of volatility. And even so, they underestimated it because they didn't know this news was coming. So on this gap up here, we gapped above what I call upper boundary, and then we did go down and test it real quick. And these are 1 minute bars. So as soon as we opened, we did get this little flush, and I did want to just wait to make sure that this wasn't just going to close and that was the end of it. So when this bar dojied and then popped back up, that's when I got into the options. And the price here was 120.41, so I got into the 121 calls. That was just the next strike up. And then the positive feedback loop ensued, and I'm going to get to a 5 minute now so you can see the entire movement that we've had today from that move up. So all of that I was pointing out all happened right in here in this bottom part of the first 5 minute candle. And sometimes that's how quick you have to be to just execute, get in. And this basically was previous day high, and that's why there was a little bit of resistance there. And you got this one-legged pullback, and then it just kept marching. And after it marched here, it put in a little triangle pattern and broke out and continued higher. And then it put in a little bit of a flatter triangle pattern right here and just kept going higher. Not exactly sure what's going to happen now, but the power of these weekly options are, when I bought that the 121 call, it was around $1.10, and by the time we got up to this little peak, it had already doubled. And I didn't actually sit through this drawdown here, but waiting for that turn and taking out the new high, you have an opportunity to get back in. And right now, if I look up here, this option is $6.80, 670 by 685, and it's traded as high as $7.65. So these weekly options provide an incredible amount of leverage for a move like this, and the whole key here is we understand that the market got shocked in this situation. There was news, and the market gapped up greater than the closing at the money straddle, which was that amount, $3.21. So that's our first clue. And then the fact that it had high volume in pre-market, which is how I even came across it, and strong price movement. So that's another tool you can put in your toolbox. For me, it's particularly useful during earnings season because earnings news provides gaps like this that really change the nature of a stock and its direction. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. It's a rare look at a stock option play instead of a futures play. And let me know if you have any questions. And just to mention, we are making progress on the Discord, thanks to a lot of help from a member, Madge B, and that is something that should be operable in the near future. So again, do leave your comments to let us know if that's something that interests you, and of course, ask any questions that you have.